Now that you've got the credit application or contract part down pat, you've got those forms, you're reading them, you're looking at them, and you know basically what you're looking for. Let's talk about the investigation. What do you do with them? We talked about a little bit about negotiation, but let's talk about what you're looking for, especially with a credit app, to be able to ask those questions. So the investigation of that. We're talking, the investigation is really going to tell you the risk associated with this particular applicant. Make sure the credit application is signed by somebody you actually know who they are. So there should be that signature line, and then below it, a lot of times someone will fill it out, and a lot of times it looks like it's filled out with their feet. You're gonna wanna know the actual name of who that person is. Because if you have to go to court, your attorney, John's gonna tell you, these are big things for him, that if we can't identify who signed it, a lot of times judges will kick it out. So you want to know who's been signing that credit application and what their role in the company is. You also wanna be able to pull information about the actual company. Secretary of State, let's make sure they're actually a company, they're actually licensed somewhere. If there's a particular, like for roofing, contractor license, some states require specific credentials. You're gonna wanna look for those. You're gonna look at association credit, commercial credit reports. So that's gonna be your D&B, so Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, Equifax Business, Cortera, Credit Safe to some extent. Your National Association of Credit Managers also has trade reports, and they're good places to go look if you're not involved with that organization. My recommendation is don't go with just one report. You're going to want to have several different opportunities. So whether that's a trade association from your for National Association of Credit Managers, or whether that's one of your commercial credit reports. You're gonna wanna look to see what their score is. Each one of them calls it something a little different, whether it's a Paydex or their financial score, whatever they label it, depending on the flavor you chose. And then you're gonna wanna look to see how many trade lines are reporting to them, how much credit they've been extending, and certain reports will allow you to see the banking relationship. Now, the only one that's really doing that right now that I can identify is Dun & Bradstreet. And to get that banking information, you actually have to contribute to Dun & Bradstreet to get that back from them. It doesn't cost you anything to contribute to any of the services, whether that's NACM, D&B, Cortera, Experian. You just report your AR data, but you have to report the entire AR that you have. You can't just pick and choose and send your bad guys there. That's playing favorites. You can't do that. When you're looking at commercial credit reports, things you're going to want to focus on: banking information, what their relationship is, credit cards, loans. Not all commercial credit reports are created equal, so you're going to want to ask a lot of questions with whichever provider you're going with, asking them who contributes data, and how many customers they have contributing, get a good number, find out if banks contribute to them as well. You might want to have several different resources, and if you're doing personal guarantees as well, get a blended product on that. So Experian or Equifax, TransUnion to some extent, has a blended model that does not hurt the personal credit score of the applicant. You're going to want to look at who is contributing. So you're going to see different SIC codes on there. That's SIC codes to let them know, hey, this is building materials, this is transportation, paving, asphalt, whatever, whichever group is contributing. And you're going to want to see what the credit lines were, how far out they are, if they're paying on time, if there are any comments on there. You're going to want to look at the region of the country they're in, what's going on with the economics there. There should be like a little credit rating score of like businesses. To that, you're going to want to look at the length of time in business. It's also going to tell you what's on there as far as ownership reflection, what state they're incorporated in. So if you're in Minnesota, but they incorporated in Delaware, then you're going to want to know that. Just more information for your file. So all of those things are on there. Knowledge is power. The more information you have, the more you can ask questions about. If you see a tax lien on somebody's commercial credit report, I can come up to you and say, listen, I noticed that you have a tax judgment lien on here, and then it goes away in a year, but then you have another one, and then it got removed again. What happened with this? And usually there's a story there. I had a customer that I gave him a very limited credit line, and his office manager called and said, why did that happen? Why did you only give us $10,000? I said, well, on your commercial credit report, it shows a charge off to one of the big box stores. And she said, I don't know anything about that. And hey, I'm happy to send you a copy of your commercial credit report. They don't fall under the same terms and conditions that personal credit reports come under, so you're a little bit freer with that information. So I was able to share that with her. The owner of the company called me and said, yeah, we had a card that got stolen and they were supposed to charge this off, but it looks like it's still on here. So I was able to help get that removed, not because I'm brilliant, it's something that anybody can do. There are companies out there that make a lot of money off of fixing your credit report. You can teach, that's another way to snuggle. Again, you're looking for ways to snuggle your customer up under you. I want you to see me as a resource and a valued partner. Partnerships work two ways. I saw this, don't pay somebody to help you fix this. Let me get you in touch with our rep. Let's get this, let's put a note on this, let's file something so that you don't have to go through this in the future, and then let's get it corrected. A good way to be able to approach your customer with their credit report, especially if it looks pretty good overall. Hey, you know what? I saw your credit report. Wow. I don't normally see them that look this good. I just want to compliment you. This is great. I did notice one thing on here that's a little weird to me, and I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but it's got this tax line on it, or it's got a judgment lien. What happened back there? This is just a small taste of a much larger class. You can take the full class for free at levelset.com. Join me.